Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our International Student Webinar to help you guys get prepared for your trip here to come to America and come start your studies here at Rollins. We're very excited to have all of you here, and we're really happy for those of you that could join us live on this webinar. We are recording this, so if you want to go back and rewatch any of it, or if you have to leave midway through, don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. We'll be sending out a link to the YouTube channel that we'll post this on probably within about 3 to 5 business days. So my name is Emily Lakemaker, and I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment and Student Life. And I've probably interacted with a handful of you guys on the Admitted Student Facebook page. Hopefully a lot of you guys are already on there to get an idea of what's going on and what you need to be doing over the summer. Again, we're very excited to have you here, and we've got two current international students that are going to be on the webinar today, along with Hannah Nicol, who is our new Assistant Director of International Programs.
International Student Affairs.
International Student Affairs.
And ESL.
And ESL. Almost got it right. So just a couple of quick logistics up at the top. Like I mentioned, we are recording this, so you'll be able to go back and rewatch as needed. And then additionally, if you have any questions, we certainly want you to be able to feel free to ask those of us. That's the whole point of why we're here today. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can see where my cursor is. You should see a section for questions. So feel free to type in your questions there at any point throughout the webinar. We're going to go through the presentation first, and then once we wrap that part up, we will go through and read each question aloud and then answer them. So we should have no problem getting to all your questions in the hour that we have allotted. And if we don't, or if you come up with anything else, I know Hannah has shared her contact information, and we'll be sure to share that again at the end, so that way we can make sure that we can get all your questions answered and concerns addressed, because we want you to come here ready and try to ease any nerves that you may have, although we know you have a lot, and that's totally fine. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Hannah so we can get started with the webinar.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you to all of you who are with us today, wherever you are in the world and whatever time it is for you. I'm Hannah, as Emily said, and you've seen my emails about CDC Day and other international student issues, and you'll be seeing more in the coming days and years. I've been with Rollins for a little over a month now, and very excited to be here, and even more excited for this webinar to be joined by two people who have been in your shoes quite recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yuting Chen, who's from Taiwan, and I'm HPM student, about to be second year.
Hi everyone, I am Nupur Maskara. I'm from India, and yes, I'm an HPM student about to be a second year again.
Great, thank you. And as you know, the purpose of this webinar is to help you prepare to come to the States. So we'll try to address any concerns that you might have, any questions. As Emily said, feel free to ask as we're talking if anything pops up. We'd like you to be ready and comfortable when you are getting on that plane. So the most important thing that you need to know right now is about RIO, Rollins International Orientation, and that begins August 10th, and it's going to be a useful and quite informative 3 days. It is mandatory for international students. Hopefully it'll also be some fun, and you'll get to meet each other. You'll get to meet speakers from various offices, including Dean Curran. He'll be speaking as part of the welcome on August 10th. And hopefully you'll make some friends too. It'll be the first time that you're all meeting each other. Would you two like to talk about what orientation is
I
like
think this international student orientation is kind of mandatory and kind of necessary, because I did learn a lot last year from, especially when I'm from like out of sea and I don't know a thing about Americans' health insurance, and it's quite important to like get a hands-on on what you might face, and what's in the system, and because admitted that everybody might need one sometimes during the 2 years. So I think this orientation is quite important, that you can learn things on and get prepared for the upcoming years.
Well, I think I completely agree with her. This orientation basically just helps you or walks you through how life is going to be at Emory as an international student, what things you can expect, what international events do they have, what international organizations exist in Emory, within Emory itself, and how can you associate with them. And I think the best part for me was I got to meet a lot of international students itself whom I could relate more easily with. And over time, then you get to know your fellow students way better. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, getting to meet people from India was a little more like, okay, yes, I do have my people around me as of now. Yeah, it's good. It's a very nice mandatory thing that it gives you a lot of information about America and the lifestyle here, I feel.
Right. Great. Well, I'm happy to hear that. And as Yuting mentioned, we will have a speaker from the health insurance plan, and we've got booklets to pass out that contain a lot of information specifically for international students as well. So be sure to get that information, as well as a lot of the other info that you'll hear.
Yeah, we should. Let's see. There we go.
All right, so the admitted student portal, and this is something that actually Emily coordinates, and this is where you can log in and find out a lot of information. If you haven't already, take a look at this. There is a page for international students specifically that will also next week include the schedule for international orientation. Anything else about admitted student portal?
Yeah, and so in last year's schedule is posted, and this year's it's going to be very similar.
Yeah.
We're keeping it's a pretty tried and true program, and so we've kind of got it down to a good science of knowing what you guys are needing and what we want to present to you guys. So you can review and see what last year's is. That is up on the admitted student portal. There's a direct link to it from Emory's homepage. The direct link to it is also in your acceptance email, along with the login information, which is the username is Rollins-admitted, all lowercase, and the password is The username is RSPH-admitted, and the password is Rollins2018, and it's all lowercase. But again, all that information is in your acceptance email. If you haven't, but hopefully you've logged into the portal because that's where all the pertinent, important information is.
And if you haven't, please go there. A lot of the questions that you have might already be answered. A lot of good info there. So once you arrive on campus, there are a couple of offices that we work closely with. One is the International Student and Scholar Services Office, or ISSS, and that office is where you'll go to make sure that all of your immigration paperwork is up to date. They will help you to make sure that you maintain your immigration status, and they're the experts in all that visa paperwork stuff. So make sure that you touch base with your advisor there. The Office of International Student Life is more the fun, social side of things. They plan fun activities for international students from all over campus. So through their office, you can join activities and meet students from other schools, like the law school. Do you have any personal experiences with either of those?
So like I have actually visited the International Student and Scholar Services quite frequently, because being an international student and working with CTC right now, you need to apply for like a CPT, which is like a curriculum practicum training certificate. Like you cannot work outside Emory if you do not have that. Personally, I love them. They are so quick. Like I had a little issue with CTC over the summer for recruitment, but like these guys helped me out so quickly with my CPT that I cannot describe it. Like ideally the procedure takes 7 to 10 business days. They actually gave me my CPT within 3 days of application. which was like, I was like, I am so grateful to you guys, and they're so sweet, they're so helpful. Call them, go see your advisors. At no point of time they will like not be there to help you. So I think they're pretty good with their work. Personal experience is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
Well, I haven't been to International Student Scholar Service for a very long time because what my program don't require a CPT, and I haven't been travel internationally so far. My visa is valid, so I haven't been there for long. But if you are planning to like go back home or visit other country during the vacation, then ISS is the place you must go. Like they have to issue your visa, and they have to sign your travel notification. So yeah.
Great. Good to hear. A lot of this, I hope, that has been done already for all of you. If it hasn't, get on that. Same for the student visas. All right, let's move on to housing. This, from what I understand, is where most of the students will live at Campus Crossing, Claremont Reserve, President Park, Highland Lake, or Post Briarcliff, and you might have already secured a room in one of these apartments. Is that what your experience has been as well, that most international students at Rollins tend to go with one of these options?
Yeah.
Especially Campus Crossing.
Yeah.
That's the most popular one. It's about a half-mile away from campus, and it's furnished.
It's furnished.
Yeah.
And so that's why obviously, most of our international students aren't shipping over
Right.
tons of furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually you guys are just
Yeah.
coming over with a handful of suitcases, and Campus Crossing is very nice in that it's fully furnished, and it makes that transition that much easier. And if you're not going to be purchasing a vehicle when you're here, it's only about a half mile from campus, and there's a shuttle that goes directly from our building, more or less, to Campus Crossing, to the apartment complex. So that's just the most common one for students, for our international students. And they more or less only rent to Emory graduate school students. So it's not open to the general public. So I think that adds an element of safety to it too.
Right, yeah. It is expensive from what I've heard. Another perk is that Kroger, which is one of our supermarkets in America, is a 5-minute walk, which also makes things convenient. If you are still looking for housing, take a look at the Emory off-campus housing website. There are apartments posted daily, even studio apartments in people's homes, people looking for roommates. But you want to make sure that you find something before you before everything starts. So it's ideally you'll find something before you arrive so that you can come to orientation, both international and main orientation, and you can kind of already be settled and already have a place to live. So when you're looking at apartments, here are some things that are important to find out. So is your apartment furnished or non-furnished is an important one, especially if you're coming from overseas, as Emily said. There is a surplus furniture storage for Emory students specifically that I recently heard about. One international student told me that she furnished her entire apartment for less than $100 US through this storage. So that could be something to look into if you do end up needing furniture. They pick up furniture, store it, and sell it at a really low price with the goal of reducing landfill waste. Emory does that. And then the cost of rent, does the sticker rent include utilities, gas, electric, Wi-Fi, and so on? The lease is your agreement, and you'll want to read that carefully before you sign it. Make sure that everything is understood and looks good to you. Your security deposit you'll be asked to pay typically along with your first month of rent, and your security deposit is just what you put down as money that will be used to fix anything that breaks if something's broken when you move out. Looking at the proximity or how close it is to campus or your transportation options is obviously important. How will you get around? And if possible, try to move in before international orientation. I know that some of the apartment complexes have a later move-in date. For example, I believe it's Campus Crossings that allows students to move in after orientation starts, so on the 15th. If possible, ask for an earlier move-in date. If it's not possible, you have an email in your inbox that I sent out from a student named Hannah, who is currently trying to arrange places to stay for students who don't have housing during orientation. So look back at that if you're worried about housing. Okay, laundry is important. It's expensive and inconvenient to do laundry in the States away from your apartment complex, so it might be different than where you live now. And then security, how safe is the area? Anything else to add?
Okay. The other place to get like furniture, you can always get it from a Facebook page called Emory Buy and Sell. A lot of students who's leaving or they're mainly just selling things they don't need on the page, on the Facebook page, and you can get probably like really good deals on that page, or even the whole unit of the furniture from that page. Yeah.
Great.
Apart from that, I feel like some of the apartment complexes have a e-renters insurance policy that is required. Like you need to take a you need to take like an insurance against fire or thefts or something like that. Like I stay at President Park, that was a mandate for us. We had to take like an e-renters, which was like around $179, $180. So that's also one more, like, because for me it came out as a shock. I was like, it was an added expense at that time, and when you come with like limited funds to US in the initial period, it's like you need to be knowing exactly what you're going to be paying for every time. So probably look at it. If you need an e-renters insurance, try searching for cheaper options.
Yeah.
I couldn't find one, so I can't help on that.
Yeah. Good point. Finding a roommate. If you don't already have a roommate, here are a few ways that you might find one. Sometimes the individual apartment complexes will arrange a roommate. Otherwise, there are different Facebook groups. There's the Class of 2018 Facebook page, which I know a lot of you have been active on. There's also the International Student Facebook group. And then this is, okay, find a roommate Facebook group specifically for Rollins students. So have a look at those if you haven't already. Student associations such as the Chinese Student Union is another great resource for Chinese students, for housing, airport pickup, activities, and so on. Anything else?
Well, I find my roommates on off-campus housing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a website.
Yeah.
And it's also convenient to find because they have all the information you might be looking for. They ask you to fill out a portal or a file that what kind of roommate you are looking for and what kind of personality you have. So that is also a good way to find a roommate.
Yeah, that's great.
I found mine on RSPH roommates Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and yeah, I got an Indian itself. We belong to the same city, same localities, in fact, without realizing that we're traveling at the same time.
That is so funny.
I know. It was like we had common friends. We had we had a lot of things in common. We are in the same course. Lucky me.
Yeah, no kidding. You got really lucky. Wow. So let's talk about what to pack. Obviously, you want to pack your clothes and your shoes. You might need a rain jacket. Right now, Atlanta is hot, but it will cool down. It's really, really hot.
Yeah.
It will cool down in a few months, and you will need a jacket, but you can always buy one here if you don't want to pack it with you. You've got a lot to pack and probably just a couple of suitcases to fill. If you don't have arrangements, you might want to bring a sleeping bag or sheets for your first couple of nights before you buy something, just to make sure you have a comfortable place to sleep. Your electronics may not be compatible, so think about that and maybe bring an adapter and any other technology that you might need, your laptop, obviously. Food is a big one. Well, for me, when I live overseas, food is a big one. And if there are any foods from your country that are, specific brands that you like, specific spices that you think you might not be able to find, and this is maybe something you could ask international students from your area. What do you miss the most, or what can't you find? You can find a lot in Atlanta.
I think you can find almost everything in Atlanta. That's my personal experience.
Yeah.
Like even when I got all my spices from India, I have everything around here right now.
Everything you need, you find at Buford Highway or...
Yeah. In fact, you have like Patel Brothers just on Decatur Highway. It's like, 5-7 minutes by Uber, or you have the Nautica shuttle that goes there. So
that's great.
I don't think you have a problem with food here in Atlanta.
Great, that's so good to hear.
I haven't faced one as yet, and I'm too picky when it comes to food.
Yeah.
And I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's...
If I say I have never had an issue with food here, so that's the thing. Like, I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's a lot of farmers markets and grocery stores that really cater to, international foods and, condiments, everything. Like, I think you would be hard-pressed to not find something here.
Yeah. Yeah, have you had the same experience?
Yeah, I think you can probably find everything here, especially like I cook for Eastern Asian cuisine. So for like Japanese or Korean, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, I think you can probably find everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also restaurants.
Also restaurants.
Tons of restaurants.
That's true.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think we're located in we have a very good location. We have a lot of restaurants in and around Emory, which have different cuisines as well. You will have Indian, you have Chinese, you have Japanese, you have Vietnamese.
Yeah.
I don't know, you basically have like almost every cuisine around you. So food is never an issue.
And have you found that it's the Americanized version of the cuisine, or have you found that it feels more authentic?
For me, I have found authentic food.
Yeah.
Like absolute authentic home cooked food.
Oh, you have to give me
You're
all
going to
your
have
spots.
to send me there.
Can you send us a list?
So yeah, personally, like, I don't have a problem. If I want to have some
great.
Indian food, there are some really good places around for Indian food.
Please. Yeah. That's very good to hear. Yeah. Well, wonderful. On last year's podcast, which I was listening to, or webinar, which I was listening to, there was a Nigerian student who was talking a lot about the food she missed, and she was talking about dried fish and spices. So I don't know if you're from Nigeria, but she also said there's an African market where she could find a lot of stuff. Great. So photos and other personal things to make you feel at home. You know what those things are. Money, cash. So it might not be a bad idea to bring cash with you. You'll need that right away, or a way to access money. How did you access your money when you first arrived?
Well, at first I bring probably like a few $100 of cash just to pay rents and furniture that I need to settle on. So for your tuition, like for the coming years or coming semester, I recommend you bring probably money order or travel checks, because it's more safe that it's direct to somebody, to you, or maybe you have a family here. So that's a safer way to travel with money. That's my passing experience.
Okay, again, with me, I was a little lucky because my sister stays in New York, so I transferred all the money to her account, opened up an account for myself the minute I landed here. But yeah, I think personally, traveler's check is the best option. right? Apart from that, if I'm not wrong, during the international orientation or maybe in the orientation, you have the Wells Fargo come in.
Yes,
They help
we
you
do.
open up the account immediately, and you have like an
Right.
access to a temporary debit card. And Wells Fargo Bank itself is like really cooperative, so they give you like a temporary debit card immediately, and your account is active like within a couple of seconds after you open it. So you don't have a problem. Like the minute you open an account with Wells Fargo, they are active quite quickly. So
Great.
you can probably like after you land here, you come for the orientation. The bank is just across the road. You can just visit them, open up your account.
Yeah.
Pretty helpful people.
Yeah, there's a Wells Fargo right across the street, basically from the building where we are, and they will be at international orientation during the information fair. So make sure that you do stop by their table if you'd like to learn about opening a bank account with them. Great. Bring your documents. Keep them in a safe place on your carry-on, not in your checked luggage. And also leave copies of important documents like your passport with your family at home just in case you lose your original and you need access.
And I think carry copies with yourself as well.
Yeah.
I carry like 3 copies of every document that I have with me.
Yeah.
Just to play safe.
Right. Smart. So how to get home from the airport. You could take a taxi, which is costs about $50. Another alternative is Uber, which tends to be cheaper than a taxi, and you might have more options, like there are promotions, and there's Uber Pool where you can ride with other people, so you'll probably find that'll cost you less. And if it's your first time riding with Uber, you can use this code that's on the screen, Hannah N1359UE, and get a first free ride. The only problem with Uber, you do need to hook it up to a credit card, so be sure to do that before you come if you plan to ride with Uber. Don't wait till you get here. Make sure that your credit card works and everything's set, and then once you get here, then you can request one. Another option, a third option, is to arrange a pickup from a volunteer. So some of the student associations, like the Chinese Student Union, for example. And if you still need airport pickup, you are welcome to contact me. I will try to find a volunteer to pick you up, but that's not guaranteed. But if you do need to email me, it's hannah.nicol@emory.edu. How did you get home from
Uber?
Okay, you took Uber.
Yeah, I contact Taiwanese Student Association, so they have someone to pick me up. Yeah, and this is what I'm going to do for the coming years. That I'm going to pick up some students for the past, for the next weeks. Yeah. So definitely ask.
So Yuting might be the one picking you up if you're lucky. Great. Transportation in general is going to be something you would like to think about. How you're going to get to school, to work. You might use the Cliff Shuttle, which is free for Emory students. You might get a bike. Campus is pretty bike friendly. That's how I get around. Although most of Atlanta is not terribly bike friendly, so if you're trying to go further than campus, you might look at other options. MARTA bus or rail or a car. Students with cars tend to be pretty popular. International students with cars. How do you get around?
I walk. I just live across the street.
Nice.
Yeah, I probably take MARTAs everywhere almost, or Ubers.
For Uber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm one of the most loyal customers to Uber. Because I don't own a car, I don't drive. So yeah, the best option is either MARTA. You take time to understand that thing, the MARTA concept, but once you know it, it's pretty quick and easy to take a MARTA.
Yeah.
A little unsafe in the evenings, late evenings. Post, it's dark.
Okay.
But then otherwise, pretty good during the day. Pretty good. The buses are on time, the trains are on time. You don't have an issue with them. Oh.
Uber's great.
I know. Lifesavers.
Yes. I am a fan. So cool. culture shock. It's going to happen. It's normal. Everyone goes through it. There might be highs and lows. A lot to get used to. So your surroundings will be different. Things will just be different, sometimes in ways that are hard to articulate or explain. The climate might be different than where you're from, so it does get pretty hot here in the summer, and it'll also get cold, so you might get used to a changing or variable climate. Language differences. It might be weird to hear people speaking English continuously. It might be exhausting at first, but just be patient with yourself. Give yourself mental breaks, and don't expect yourself to understand every single thing that's going on around you at every moment. People might be different, things like eye contact, personal space. The food might be different, or it will be different. But as we heard, hopefully you'll have lots of options no matter where you're from when you're missing your home food. Rules and processes might be a little bit different, but again, be forgiving of yourself, because some norms are, you just won't know them at first, but then you'll learn, and you'll get used to it.
I think with language, it's like you feel the people talk quite fast here initially, but they're very sweet. So, if you do not understand something, just ask them to repeat, and they will repeat themselves very sweetly. So at no point of time just feel like, oh, I'm alienated, I am in a different country, I do not understand what they speak. Just ask them to stop, speak again, and they will do it for you without like hesitation at all.
Absolutely. You're so right. Yeah, don't be embarrassed about saying, well, what did you say?
Exactly.
People
are quite welcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially here at Rollins. I think you'll find that the faculty, staff, students,
everyone's very friendly.
Tend to be so friendly. Yeah. And when you do go through culture shock, just know that you are not alone. Reach out for help. Talk to your friends, talk to other people, maybe plan Skype sessions with your family and friends back home if you're feeling homesick, and just be kind of psychologically prepared for it. We have services here like a counseling center if you'd like to talk to a counselor about what you're feeling.
I think it's just about making friends. Like if you make some good friends, even a handful of them, you really make your life easy.
Yes.
Really easy.
In so many ways.
Yeah.
Especially if they have a car.
It's just that you get to talk to them, probably just call them up at weird hours of the night. Like I have done that. I've called up people at like 4 a.m. saying, oh, I'm feeling homesick, I need someone to talk to. And if they're good friends here, they just do actually speak to you at 4 a.m. So just make good friends, be friendly. That's what I feel.
Yeah. And the best thing about 4 a.m. is it's the middle of the day in India.
Exactly.
Right? Call mom and say, Mom,
Exactly.
I can't sleep.
No.
So making the adjustment, as we're talking about, create new support systems for yourself. Make friends. That'll be your new family, especially when you're overseas. You're all in the same situation. You can all help each other out in different ways. And participate in activities, either on campus or off campus. Like we said, plenty of those going around from the various offices. Get some R&R or rest and relaxation. So don't overrun yourself. Let yourself relax as you're going through all these changes. Pop culture. What do Americans do with their free time? What kind of movies do they watch? What music do they listen to? If you immerse yourself in pop culture, you'll understand the environment that you're in sort of a different way, I would think. And explore your new environment. There's tons to do in Atlanta, so take advantage of it and have some fun and get out there, see what there is to see and do. And last, be patient with yourself and with others as you make this adjustment. Anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
And then if you do find that you want to improve your language skills while you're here, we have quite a few programs that can help you do that. We've got the Global Peer Network that connects you with a domestic partner. We've got conversation practice sessions that'll be happening in the spring. We've got a writing center with tutors who can help you out. There are also ESL classes that you can take. And then reading books, magazines, newspapers in English, you'll be reading textbooks and going to English lectures. Don't worry, a lot of those lectures are recorded, so you can re-listen if you need to. And then watching American TV shows, movies, videos, and making friends with both locals and internationals will just automatically improve your English, because English will be the lingua franca that even among the international students that you're talking with for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of Netflix.
Yes.
It really does.
Yeah, and it'll come. It will just come. Give it time. It'll be almost automatic. And then the last thing I'd like to talk about is career development, and maybe the two of you can speak more to this than I can. But although we do have Nupur who has a job at the CDC, that is the exception, not the rule.
I know. I think I'm one of the very few international students who got the chance to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, but actually worked out with me because of the real program, because I got a real award last semester in the spring semester, and then CDC had an opening. I applied for the job, simply gave an interview. They apparently liked my profile, and then they called me over. That itself, and it's like once you get into the CDC network, things become way more easier. Like they automatically wanted me to continue, converted my real into a summer internship. And then now they want me to be there again for the next 2 semesters. And I have the real awards for the next 2 semesters as well. Great. So it just goes on that way. But I actually started working, I have also worked for Emory Healthcare in the first semester at a volunteer position through Directed Studies program.
Okay.
So that was also a very good experience. So I think most of the times the first semester generally starts with more of volunteer work, where grab any and every opportunity you get is what I feel. And that is what my second years had told me when I came here, that just grab any and every opportunity, because that is how you network with people. That is how you get to tell people who you are, what you want, or people know you so that they can refer you to more better job opportunities in the future. That's most important. And for my financial parts, I was working at the library, Woodruff Library. Because since I was doing a volunteer position, you need money as well. Right?
Yeah.
Right. First semester was more about that. Second semester I was working with CDC. And I've just been doing that as of now.
Would you like to talk a little bit more about the REAL program?
So the REAL program is basically like you get, you need to maintain a certain GPA to apply for the REAL program. If I'm not wrong, with our year, they actually started giving real awards from the spring semester itself. So you just, there are forms that are sent across, and you need to fill in the form, send it like within like as soon as possible, because I think it's on the first come first basis.
Yeah. Okay.
So like the person who applies for it quickly gets it. There are more chances of getting it, in fact. So you just need to apply for it, wait for them. Probably I think they get back to you in a month's span, saying whether you have been given the real award or not. And once you have the real award, you have an orientation program after the school starts. You need to attend the orientation, look out for jobs that's on Handshake. If you get a job for yourself on Handshake, need to inform at the, which center is that now? I'm a little lost here. So you actually have I remember the name of the girl we speak to most of the times. There's someone called Sahar.
Sahar, yeah.
Yes. So you just need to get into contact with Sahar and then she'll do the remaining procedures. You really don't get stuck anywhere. They just do the remaining paperwork. They give you an ID and tell you how do you work around with it, and then you start working.
Great. So that's the REAL program. That's REAL, Rollins, Earn, and Learn, right?
Yeah.
And Sahara will actually be leaving us
Shortly.
So
we're in the hiring process for her replacement, but whoever we're hiring will come in and gets trained under her for about a month.
Okay.
So it's going to be a very smooth transition.
Yeah.
So no worries on that end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. There's also the Career Center
Yes.
in the meantime, and approach faculty if you're interested in doing research as soon as you get here, and see if you can get involved in their projects that you might be interested in. And as you said, Nupur, keep your eyes open for opportunities to develop, to volunteer, to
I
network.
personally feel that networking is the most important thing. Like that was something that was inculcated in us on day one. It's a network. Let people know that you exist. Let people know that, you are here to work, you are here to show yourself out.
Right.
The more you network, the more opportunities you call for yourself.
Right. Great advice. Anything to add?
Well, like Napur, I didn't go like really smooth on my, because everyone required to do a practicum for at least 200 hours. So I didn't get really smooth for my practicum position, but fortunately, finally I got one in March, and it lasts 3 months. It's a really short program, but it's kind of fun, and I learned a lot from that position. So really don't worry about like getting a job, because I think everyone, especially international student, they're worried, do I qualify for this position?
Yeah.
Or is my English skill good enough for working in a organization or association? And like everything, I don't have a passing experience in the United States, then how do I find a job, or how do I find a practicum position? So really don't worry. You might have a tough time in the beginning, like for all the resume and application for jobs, but well, things can get along. So really like be patient. Yeah.
But I think for the resume part of it, you can always get to the career development services. They're very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
They help, like if you have your resume, they will help you work around it, concise it, make it look more pretty.
Yeah.
Help you define work in a certain way that makes it look more better, you could say. So always use the career development services a lot here. They're really helpful people.
Yeah, and there's a staff member who is specifically designated for international students. She'll be doing an afternoon workshop at Rollins International Orientation, and her name's Sam, and she'll be working with you throughout your time here as well. So get to know Sam and ask for her help. She was a previous international student at Rollins.
And went and worked for the CDC
and worked for the
full-time,
CDC, yeah.
and is now back at Rollins.
Yeah.
Working full-time.
Good person to know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's all we have for the webinar itself, but we would love to answer your questions.
Let's go back to that so we don't have just a blank screen. All right, so let's type in your questions, guys, and we'll see if we have any in here. Let's see, questions. Let's open this up. So we've only got 2, but we're going to read these aloud and go through and answer them. And as you guys have other questions, for those of you that are on here, please feel free to type them in. This is what we're here for. Don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like there's truly no dumb question right now. That doesn't exist. Our whole job right now is to make sure that you feel comfortable and that you're excited about coming. Yeah. And we want to make sure we can do whatever we can to get you to that point. So this is your time to connect directly with us and make sure that you get all of your concerns worked out. So Nandita's got a couple of questions. First up, how do we get a MARTA card? Is there a student discount? You can, once you get to the airport, if you're going to be using MARTA to get from the airport to your new apartment or, wherever it is you're going, you will have to get one. You can just buy like a little one ride pass there in the MARTA station that's attached to the airport. But once you get to campus, you can go to the DUC, which is the Dobbs University Center. It's our university, it's our student center. And you can buy a month pass for MARTA. I believe it's in the $60 range, $60, $70 range, and normally it's $90. So it's a significant discount for students, and that gets you unlimited rides on both the train and the bus system that's part of MARTA. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, or is that
No, I
cover
think
it?
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Nandita is also asking, how do international students go about looking for and finding jobs? Does having an F1 visa affect anything? How do we go about finding something in the first semester? All right, students, I'm going to defer to you guys as the experts on this.
So I think the best way of looking for a job would be through Handshake. That's where I found all my jobs in the past. Then also you can access the Woodruff Library Student Employment, where I got my library job. First semester is generally more about volunteer positions, where you tend to just apply for volunteer positions, get into volunteer positions, work free of cost. But that really helps you build your resume. Apart from that, that also helps you network with people. F1 visa is never an issue, I think. You probably, as I was working with CDC, I needed a CPT, but that was also a very simple procedure. It's not a very difficult procedure to be completed. They walk you through everything at every point of time. You can call the ISS services, you can speak to the career development services, you can speak to the real program people, you can speak to CDC itself. They will walk you through everything. So F1 has never been an issue for me, I think.
And also on orientation day, I think they will have some people from the office to tell you about, like, if you got a F1 visa or J1 visa, how you are able to work on campus or off campus. So that's not a really big issue. You can also always pay attention on the orientation and attend the orientation, and you can probably get all the information you need.
Yes, we do have Jennifer from ISSS, from International Student and Scholar Services, coming, and she'll be speaking for an hour at orientation about all of that, about visa, immigration stuff.
Okay, so a few more questions have come in. Zywin, and my apologies if I'm butchering your name. And I know Zywin was also commenting on our Facebook live session we had earlier in the week, so we're happy to see you back here. They're asking, I have to go to the Student Health Service on August 9th before orientation. Can I get my Emory card earlier or just go there straightly? Okay, so for your Emory ID cards, this is for everybody. You will not get it until you show up for main student orientation on Wednesday, August 17th. There is no way to get it before then. Don't call Emory Card Services. Don't ask them. Don't email them. They have a very set printing schedule of when they make them for each school, and they can't just go in and print yours. It just doesn't work like that. So that's bottom line. I guess there's no other way that I can say it. It just doesn't work like that. So if by August 1st, which that deadline's coming up real quick, if by August 1st you have submitted your picture through Emory Card Services website, which all that information is on the admitted student portal. It's been in the email. There's been 4 email communications that have gone out this summer. All those links have been in there. If you have submitted your photo and it's been approved and you did all that before the deadline, we will be getting the cards and then you will get them when you check in for orientation. So I wouldn't even bother to, in fact, don't call them, because then they get mad at us and they think we're not communicating with students. No, we are. We're telling them. So with the Student Health Services, I can't imagine that they would be requiring to see your card, because they should know that you don't have them yet.
Right.
So, you could maybe bring like a copy of your acceptance letter, or, if you want to print out something just to show that you are a student. But no incoming students will have their cards yet by that point. So hopefully that helps. Pula Debian is asking, hi, I'm an international student from India. Can you please send the contact information for the international students who are speaking? Are you guys comfortable with us sharing your contact info?
Sure.
Yeah,
Great.
so when Hannah sends out the link to this to everybody, she can just include our students' names and email contacts for you guys.
Yep, I'll do that.
All right, Minxie is asking, if I want to ask for a job outside of Atlanta, will they accept applications for another state? So I'm thinking that may mean after graduation,
Yeah.
and that's really going to depend on the agency that's hiring, and depends on what type of work visa you're on. If they're willing to sponsor your HB1 visa, there's a lot that goes into that. But the Career Services Office here is really good about talking students through what all that means, maybe directing them to certain agencies or organizations that have hired and sponsored international students in the past. So that's, I would reach out to them once you're here as a student to think about places to apply once you've graduated. But quite frankly, as a first year, you don't want to think about that yet.
No.
I know.
You need to be thinking about, your first year classes, and really just getting settled here in the States and getting into the swing of things. In your second year, there's plenty of time to think about applying for jobs here in the States, or rather, if you want to go back home, whatever it is that you want to do. There's plenty of time in that year. Just spend this first year getting acclimated.
Yeah. Good advice.
All right, so it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. Do you guys as students, do you guys have any last words of advice or anything that we haven't covered yet that you think would be helpful for those on the webinar to hear?
I don't think so. Just keep a calm mind, relax, come, enjoy your first year. You have a lot of activities that happen in Rollins and over Emory campus. Be a part of everything. Yeah, pretty much it. It's a very good feeling to be here. Like, you feel overwhelmed in the initial few days, but once you start settling in, you love it.
Yeah. I remember last year during this time, I was quite nervous about coming to the United States. And then I find out that everyone here is really helpful and very friendly with all the questions or all the problem you've been through. So really at this point, you just relax and say goodbye to your families and friends and enjoy your last time in your country, I think. That's all.
Awesome. Hannah, anything else?
Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us,
Yeah.
Nupur and Yuting and Emily.
Happy to help.
And all of you, I'm really excited to meet all of you at orientation. And like our students said, try to relax your last couple weeks at home or your last week or so, and just say goodbye to your friends. And once you arrive, we'll take it from there.
And you'll make lots of new ones here.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap this up, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions that that weren't addressed during this. We're happy to help connect with you, and Hannah will be mailing all this out within the next, it'll take us about 3 to 5 business days to get this up onto our YouTube channel, and then from there she'll be in contact with everybody on how to rewatch this. So with that, we're going to log off. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
See you soon.